Hello and welcome back to the build. This is update part 12. Starting to work on the exterior walls for the first floor. Alright, so this was the original plan layout that I did as far as the elevation for the front and the sides of the building, just to give you a little quick reminder of what this is supposed to look like. Now initially what I had planned was just to cast the full walls, glue them all together, then go in and cut out the windows. And since I was going to do 1.5 for each floor, so that's 3 up, so I've cut one of them in half, and that's one floor, second floor. But after doing the work on the cellar windows, I thought came to the conclusion there was going to be more work. There's about 12-13 windows that I would have to cut out and have to keep them all consistent and the same, and I think that was going to be more work, more of a pain. So instead of doing this, what I decided is to use those brick piers that I've been using elsewhere for the fireplace. So let me pause this and take this off and show you. Alright, so this is what I came up with. So using pier sections and just the pier sections for at least the front of the house, this is what the layout that I came up in. So I kind of use them like Lego blocks. I kind of play with a different layout to see what worked best, and this is what worked out best for me to get the look that I was going for. So this is the one room, one side, the 2 windows, the front door, window on the top landing. And before you cut them, this is what they look like, just like this. I'll have to cut these in half to get the 2 floors. Now luckily I don't need as many of the brick sections, because once I cut, I can use one of these sections to fill in these parts here over and below the window, as well as over the doorway here. So it was a little trial and error trying to get the right layout, but I think this is what I came up with. Now this is a lot more pieces to put together, to glue together, make sure everything's aligned correctly. But I think in the long run it will give me more consistent results, so I'm slow and steady, and make sure I'm consistent how I'm gluing all these walls. And then I'm going to be backing up the other side with another brick layer, so I have a nice good thick and sturdy wall. And I'll be doing the same thing on for the sides. So right now I'm just going to get to gluing these together, and I'll be back when I've done that. Alright, so just to give you a little insight how I'm gluing all these together. So what I first did is gluing the major pieces together like you see here. So I'm forming larger blocks of all the individual smaller pieces, and then I come back and I glue the other pieces, those pieces together. Using some of my Lego blocks as before, as straight edges or right angles or support. And then once things set up, I also put in a little bit of extra support on all these seams. These are actually coffee stirrers. I just cut them up and placed them here on the major seams and across, and also the little extra cutouts that I had from the beams when I was doing the floors. So I just put them here by this part here next to the windows, again to give it some support as it's all setting up. I still need to cut the other half here, so I'll cut that off screen, and it'll be the same basic assembly that you see here. Alright, I'll be back once I'm completed. Hello, just a quick little thing here to update how I'm doing the internals of the walls. So as you see, I'm backing up the internal of the walls with some of those coffee stir sticks, wooden coffee stir sticks, to give a little bit more rigidity. And I'm also backing up the back of the wall here and the inside of the wall. As you, I'm just using including some of the scraps that I have that I was testing before. So I'm some part of it's good. Cut it to size and back up the wall. So this is not glued in yet. So yeah, you can just take these off, so you can see some of the internal supports. So I'm just measuring it out, cutting them in place, and glue them in, so I give the wall more support. And this is the other half of the wall here, the first floor. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So this is the front of the first floor. I've completed the interior. I made a few mistakes, a few miscuts, so you can see, you might be able to see here in the camera. Kind of miscut that, so there's a little gap there, but any of these little errors, they're all going to be covered up anyway. All this will be either plaster over, or there'll be wallpaper over it, so you're not going to see it. Any little errors that I made here along the edges of the windows and the doors, the trim will cover that up, so I'm not too concerned about that. Now on the flip side, as I carefully rotate this around, here in the front. Let me see, I put a piece of black cardboard here, give it some support since there is no other support here for the front door. Again, there's a few little mistakes here and there. I cracked this corner here, so it's not quite even and you got that crack, but let's say that gives it character once it's all done up. I mean, usually brick walls will have its own little characters here and there, broken pieces or cracked pieces, so I call it that, character marks. Anyway, so now next thing is to do the sides, which will be simpler than doing the front here, and then the back, which will be even simpler than that. And then once I set up everything on the first floor, I'll move on to the second floor. Right now I have the second floor set off to the side, and I'll get to that later. The good thing about working on one floor on the side, any mistakes that I made, I've learned, and I'll do better for the next round. Alright, so I'll be back once I've completed the other 3 walls and show you. Hello and welcome back. It's been a few days since the last clip. I've completed the walls as far as assembly. Just to show you what I've done. This is the back wall, the inside of the back wall. Since this will be covered up by the fireplaces and the cabinetry either side, I'm leaving this area as is. Here in the middle part where the back door is going to be, I did the grouting, painting and grouting here for the back wall of the staircase going down, and I smoothed out the area here that is going to be visible from the landing from the staircase. So what I did for that, as well as all the other inside walls, is put some of the spackle on it, sand it down smooth, and then put a coat of white primer on it. Eventually this will all be covered up inside once I complete it. And then this is the front of the building as you saw it before. So right now my next step is I just want to show you before and after here. So I'll complete this as I did with that, and we'll be gluing and assembling these walls. So hopefully I can do that without breaking any parts. You can see this on camera, just like that as they slide in there, glue it and attaching it to the floor. So I'm going to do that off camera just because it makes it a whole lot easier for me, and I'll be back once I have those parts assembled. Alright, thank you. Hello, so here we are the next day. Let all the glue dry and set up. So you can see got all the walls set up here for the first floor. The way I went about this, I just did one corner first, using my Lego blocks as the right angle corner and support. Let that set for like an hour, then move on to the next corner and so forth until I did all 4 corners. And then I turned it upside down and I applied the floor, weighted down with some weights, and let that set overnight as well. And here we are. So everything is glued together, so you can pick up the entire floor, which is what I wanted. Now, just to continue working on this before I move on to the second floor. So between now and the next update, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go around the perimeter of the wall, especially the exterior, make sure I fill in any cracks or anything like that. In a couple places I might have broken off 1 or 2 of the little teeth along the sides, and then go do my usual procedure of putting the pigment on, varnishing it, and then putting on the mortar joints on it. And I'll do that first before I move back inside and continue working on the first floor. That being putting on the interior, separating walls, and so forth. Alright, thank you all for watching. Have a good day.